Hello, all you dogs and puppies out there. Welcome to Wild Thing Art Academy. I am painting Shepardo, the German Shepherd. Okay, so if you're new to Wild Thing Art Academy, welcome. If you're have been in the Wild Thing Academy for a while, you know the what we do next is we transfer the drawing onto the canvas. So in your downloads, if you're one of my Patreon people, thank you, one of my members, the downloads are all in the underneath the video here. The download of the reference photo of Shepardo, which is this right here, and then your template, which is this right here. Those are in the downloads. So download that. If you're watching, pause the video, and if you don't know how to transfer your image onto the canvas, then go to the collections area and fundamentals, and then go and look at how to transfer your image onto the canvas. Today I'm painting on a 12, just a simple canvas board. You can use the same supplies, which are also included in the downloads. So you can use the same supplies if you'd like. If not, just use similar. Just use what you have: watercolor, crayons, markers, oil paints, whatever you've got. I am using Golden brand and Liquitex brand acrylic paints. If you want to get similar results that I'm getting, then use similar colors, and you can just use whatever you've got on hand. The main thing and the only rule of Wild Thing Art Academy is simply to let the inner critic go. We're going to shut the inner critic down, and we're going to let our artistic spirit come out and play. So I believe we were all created to create, whether it be cooking, knitting, whatever you do, writing, creating, whatever you do, create something beautiful. So welcome to the class. And we're going to get started. Are you ready? Yes, and then we're going to get started on Shepardo once again. So let's go. So those of you watching live, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section. In the software program that I'm using, I cannot see comments, so I will be glad to answer any comments after I get done painting. I'll get offline and then come back on, and I'll be glad to answer any comments. All right, here we go. So with Wild Thing Art Academy, I do what I always do, or most generally, not always, it just depends on what I'm feeling up to, is I will start with my magenta. So here's my colors: Golden brand magenta, Golden brand phthalo blue and green shade, Liquitex brand Indian yellow, Liquitex brand titanium white, and Liquitex brand Mars black. So let's get started. I'm going to grab a liner brush. I believe I'll grab this one. I'm going to wet my liner brush down. Put my little handy dandy dirty glasses on so I can kind of see. I'm going to wet my brush down, and I'm going to dip it into the magenta. I'm going to twirl my brush, give it a nice little twirl so I get a nice peak on my brush. And I'm going to begin by painting the graphite lines, painting over the graphite lines on Shepardo here. So what I want you to keep in mind is you can draw this on your canvas using your paint, or you can draw it on using a pencil, whatever suits your fancy, or you can transfer it with graphite paper, which is what I have done for this tutorial. So just cover your lines here. So I cover the lines because it adds interest to the painting. So you can choose to cover your lines if you transferred it on. You can choose to cover your lines in whatever color you want to transfer it on or cover it on. If you choose not to cover your lines, it's perfectly fine as well. I am painting flat for this tutorial. So if you're painting flat like I am, I recommend simply going from left to right just to keep from getting your hand in the canvas or in the paint. And this is a short-haired dog, so they're not real fluffy. And if you paint along with me or you're in my Patreon membership, please upload your paintings that you do. I love to see them. Everyone's painting is unique to their own. And they're all beautiful. A painting is like somebody's thumbprint, in my opinion. It expresses how they're seeing the world. And we all see the world a bit differently. So it's beautiful to see the world how you see it. And if you are watching live, please comment and tell me how your day is going, what the weather's like, anything that might be going on in your world. I can't see, I know I've got viewers, but I can't see who is viewing. So if you'd let me know that you're watching, that would be awesome. And I know I say this in all my videos, but I have an old dog. His name is Surf, and he likes to lay in here with me while I paint. And when he does, he goes to sleep and snores a lot. So if you hear some strange noises, know that's my Surf dog. That's his name. And he's making little snoring noises like he is right now. My Surf dog is just getting pretty crippled up, so I don't know. He's hanging in there. He's been such a good dog. I think he's been like as good as a dog can be. He's kind of precious. And if you have a dog, I'd love to see a picture of your dog. By the way, this reference photo is no one's dog that I know of. This is a dog I pulled off Pixabay, this photo. Pixabay is a account that they allow you, that photographers are nice enough to upload their photos to allow you to use them. which I think is very gracious of them. And what I've done is kind of outlined when I did the template of this dog, just I look for patterns in the dog's fur. And try to capture that dog's pattern. This his left cheek is a little more droopy than the other cheek, which I thought was cute. Maybe the tilt of his head, but none of us are symmetrical. We're all asymmetrical on our sides. On each side, nothing matches. So that may be what it is, just a little asymmetry in his makeup, which is perfectly normal. Last time I went live, I was having a few technical difficulties, so I keep checking my monitor to make sure I'm not having any technical difficulties. Also, if you're a homeschooler, this would be my Patreon account would be a great thing to have for kids. If you're a group of people, I do have a group membership available that you can watch with a group and paint along. All right, we are done with that part of it, outlining his graphite marks. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in the cool colors. So I'm just simply finding a brush that I want to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in now the cool colors. Whoops, I forgot a nostril. I'm looking right into that camera here. I forgot a nostril. So let me go back up and put that in. All right, I'm cleaning that brush out because I use acrylics, and acrylics dry really quick, and you can ruin a brush pretty easily by letting your acrylics dry on your brush. I'm going to take a little brush and I'm going to start filling in the eyes first with blue. So I'm finding the cool dark areas in this dog, and so the cool dark areas in this dog would be his whole nose, his ears, tips of his ears, some areas right in there, and some of his pattern, and that's what I'm going to be filling in with the phthalo blue. So first I'm going to do the eyes so they have a chance to set, because I'll be going back to that and heard a funny noise. It sounded like my printer, but so I'm using Golden brand paints on with the phthalo blue. to go ahead and make the nostrils a bit darker, the nostril holes, excuse me. And then I'm going to clean that brush out because I'm going to move to a bigger brush and do his pattern. So I'm just simply going to move to this size brush, just a little filbert. It's an old brush, pretty scrubby as you can see. It's been worn a lot. I'm going to dip it in water just a bit to weaken that concentration down of the color. And I'm simply going to go ahead and paint all the dark areas, and that would be his muzzle area, right up in here, this area right here he's darkened. This area here. Also interested to see how the weather is in your area. Yesterday was so beautiful. Me and my sister went on a trail ride and really enjoyed the day. We got caught in some rain, which was really nice. And it was nice and cloudy, and then at the end it started clearing up, and boy, it got humid. And today we're having a very hot and humid day with some storms coming in. There's that cool stripe down his center of his face. But it was a very nice ride. So in Wild Thing Art Academy, like I said, there's really no rule except letting your inner artist come out and play. So if you're seeing something different, then by all means, paint it the way you're seeing the world. So we're getting storms supposed to be coming in this evening, so it's really hot and humid out. It's August. If you're watching this at a later date on my Patreon account, it's August at the time I'm doing this video. So we have had an amazingly beautiful summer so far. Summer's going to be over before we know it, which makes me sad because I'm a summer person. And let's see, did we get all that? A little bit of cool right here in this area. And when you're painting, you want to think again about the anatomy of your animal and painting in the direction of that anatomy. Right now, all I'm concentrating on doing is painting the canvas, getting color all over the canvas, but getting the right hues. So I want cool and dark shades. So I'm going to cover the rest of it in magenta. So I'm simply going to, with a light, I wet my paint down to desaturate it a bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill the canvas. Now this dog is a brown, golden brown, and the reason why I'm putting magenta on all the areas that he's golden brown in, now he's got pink in the ears, so that's all right. But when I put yellow, that Indian yellow on top of this golden brown, it's a bit transparent, the Indian yellow is, and so that magenta underneath kind of glows through that paint and makes it, in my opinion, a really color. And this paint peeks through, all this base layer that we're laying in peeks through. So I like to do very vivid colors in my painting, in case you are not familiar with my work. I like to really exaggerate the colors. Using a bigger brush there, but that's all right. We're almost done. And when it comes time to doing the body, I usually use it real loose strokes down here. That's, I always say, make an interesting mark on your canvas. There's a opportunity there to make those interesting marks. All right, we've got the canvas covered. And so the next thing I want to do, I want to look at, see, there's some cooler shades. While I've got this pink wet, I'm going to add some of this blue in some of these areas here because there's some cooler shades in this area. It makes a nice purple. And again, if you're hearing strange noises, that would be my dog. He's really snoring. I don't know if you're hearing that or not, but it's a little bit of shadow right there underneath. Okay, now we've got him covered, the whole canvas covered. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the eyes and work on the eyes. So we're going to bring his eyes to life. I'm going to clean out my brush here. And then I'm going to grab my smaller brush, this little brush right here, which says it's a number 4, fine. Grab a drink of tea. And then I'm going to go in to black and I put his pupils in. And then he has a lot of black eyeliner around that eye, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in as well. So I'm simply taking the edge of that brush, turning him up on the edge, and putting that black in around his eyes. Same with this one, put the pupil in, and then putting that eyeliner in. And one eye looks bigger, and actually in the picture of the dog, one eye is slightly bigger. I'm going to try to even that out. It looks a little bit funny in a painting, so I'm going to even that out just a touch. So he is pretty asymmetrical. He's got one cheek that's lower than the other one, and then one eye that's a little bigger. It's funny because my surf dog, his nose is really crooked, and he's snaggle-toothed too, so I'm cleaning my brush out. That's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix up. This dog has brown eyes, and I'm going to mix up some Indian yellow and some magenta and make an orange. And when I place that on top of this blue, you'll see it changes colors just a bit. Like that. And eyes are real important. I'm going to go ahead and clean that brush out just a bit. Wipe it off good. And then I'm going to take some straight Indian yellow. He has it right here around his pupil. Soften that hard edge there. And then we go back into the black. I'm going to darken that pupil just a bit. And there are no whites of his eyes. He does have a shadow across his lids, but I'm going to make a little bit lighter of yellow. I'm cleaning out my brush just a little bit, and I'm making some lighter yellow to bring out with some white and Indian yellow to bring out a little bit more of that yellow in this dog's eyes. And I'm softening the hard lines that I just created just by tapping it ever so slightly. Here. And I'm going to make a little bit of lavender here. And lavender, I'm going to shadow his eyes where the shadow is, the very top lid. don't want too much paint on there. I'm going to go ahead and just make just a shadow, just like that. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead now. As if you've watched me before, I always go back in once I'm at the end of my painting, and I go back in and add fluorescence to the eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and make up some light blue. Just some real light blue. That's way too dark. Lighten it up just a little bit. And it's still too dark. So I'm just taking what's in my brush. There, that's a good color. And I'm looking to see where these highlights are in his eyes. So with this one, a little bit right here and right there. And then while I have this, I'm going to add just a little highlight there, highlight there. And that eye doesn't have really any highlights. So I'm wiping my brush out. Go ahead and I'm going to re-emphasize the black because I got a little carried away with that highlight. And I'm just going to have it there. Okay, then I'm going to put the highlight in his eye, the white highlight, and it's pure white. And what I do is I just simply take the end of my brush like this and stick the handle of that brush right into my paint and make a little peak. And we're going to go ahead and add just the highlight to his eye. And there, now he's looking at us. And I'm thinking a little bit of red in that, some magenta. So I'm cleaning out my brush and I'm going to give just a little bit of magenta and deepen the brown in that eye. And first I want to wipe off my hand because I stuck it in my making sure I don't get it on my canvas. I'm going to brown up the edges of those eyes just a touch. There, just a touch there. Make them a little bit more rounded appearing. All right, now we're going to move up to the ears, and I'm going to grab a straight, it's a slant brush. It says it's 3/8. Again, all my brushes are old, so no telling. So I'm going to look at the outer portions of the ears. I'm going to grab just the Indian yellow and do some of the outer portions of his ears. And it would be anywhere where I see that golden brown color. And I'm going to go right on top of here. And it kind of feathers out. He's got some hair that kind of comes out like that away from his ear. Same with this one. So I'm feathering that out slightly. And again, if you hear strange little noises, my little dog's snoring. My old dog. Poor old dog. Okay, and with that, I'm going to clean out the brush just a bit. And I'm going to go into, let's do pink. So I'm going to take some white into this magenta and make a pink. A nice pink. And he's got a lot of pink showing in those ears, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in right here. And same with the other ear. I'm going to take some darker blue and fill in some of the areas where it's darker. That would be right in here. And right in there. And a little bit. Like so. Same with the other side. Let's see. Got some folds in their ears here. I'm going to make a light blue. So I cleaned out the brush just a little bit. I'm going to just see if this, nope, it's drying up on me. A lighter blue and get into some of these highlights I'm seeing. Right in here. This area right here. A little bit of kind of like hairy, like hairs right there, and same with this area right here. So I'm just kind of making a little bit of a wispy looking area. Just about like that for now. I'm cleaning out my brush. I'm going to accent the inside of his ear a little bit more. And I think I'll make me a little, well, this lavender here. Let's see what happens if I add some white to it. If it will come out and play. And not very much, so I add a little bit more pink to it. And a touch blue. Yeah. There's a little lavender there. And we're going to highlight some of these. Well, it's coming out. A little baby blue there. What I think I'm going to do is make a lighter pink now. And do a little bit more highlights on the ears and then leave those alone for now. So a little more highlight. And we don't want to go into much detail. I'm going to take some of that out so it's not so. That in just a touch. Just kind of going through and blending just a little bit. I don't want to overblend. Now let's move down to his nose. Now his nose is, we're going to work on just this area right here. So I'm going to go into the black. I'm going to take a smaller brush, this little brush right here. I'm going to go right into the black. I'm going to go right into the deepest recesses of his nostrils and put that in. And while I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and put his mouth line in here. And I'm kind of working my way up into that area there. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to outline his nose. Actually, this area right here. And I'm just simply putting in some of the areas of darkness that I see. Okay, I'm going to clean that out just a bit, and I'm going to go into the blue and darken some of this blue up. And then I'm going to make a light gray with some of this light blue. Add just some areas where going down around his nose. Highlight there that I'll emphasize. Highlight there. And kind of goes up like that. Okay, so we're getting that nose starting to form. So let's get a bigger brush and work on his muzzle and work our way up. And I'm going to take some black and go ahead and get in the darker areas here. He's darker around this jaw area coming up from the shadows. And same with this area here. I'm going to start putting in the black areas with the Mars black. By the way, I don't think I said what I was using. And again, thinking about the anatomy of the dog, so I'm kind of taking my paint brush in the direction his hair would be growing. It's a darker area here. again, just thinking about direction of hair in the dark areas. I'm working my way up just a bit. And while leaving also the blue peeking through in areas. And again, this is the body, so I want to be careful. I just don't want to draw too much attention to the body. And so just giving it suggestions. And again, thinking about the little wispy hairs that are around the ear. And then going up through the ear. And re-emphasizing darkness in that ear. Same with this side here. Yes, a few little wispies right there. And little wispies right there. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I want that black to set up before I start laying the yellow on top of this magenta. So I can go back, let's see. Let's work on that nose there. I'm seeing a little bit of pink in the bottom of that nose. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Wipe that brush out, and I'm going to go back in with a light blue, so I'm going to clean that out and wipe my brush out, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't awaken this light blue up a little bit. It's drying. Let me get go. And then I'm going to take a little bit of purple would look nice there. Again, it's a wild thing, so we can make it whatever color we see fit. go ahead and add a little white to that. A little more magenta. Make a nice little lavender there. And I think that's good enough for that. All right, I'm going to get into the yellow now. Hopefully the black has had a chance to get set up. I'm cleaning my brush out really good. And I'm going to move right into this yellow. And I'm going to start placing the yellow right on top of this magenta. And then if I dirty it up with some of that black, I'll wipe out that black. And then again, thinking about the dog's hair and how it moves on the dog. And then painting in that direction. So as you can see, when I paint on top of the magenta, you can see the differences in the color there. How that adds such a glow to that Indian yellow. Again, thinking about direction of the dog's hair. And letting that magenta peek through. Make sure I'm going the right direction here. Again, when you get down to the body, add in some interesting marks. It's always a good thing. I like to show a little bit of that underpainting in the body. I think again it adds. All right, we've got him. Oh, let me go back up to his ears and put some more yellow in these ears here. Okay. Now I think it's time to go back into the pure black, and let's re-emphasize some of these really dark areas here in the black. To be right here around his eyes, this little, almost like an eyebrow right there. It's cute. And this little eyebrow right there. And then he's really dark right here. And then I'm cleaning up that nose line just a bit right there. Okay, let's go into giving it some thought here, what I want to do. If I want to add, let's take some this light purple, and go in there and add just a little bit of interest in this dark area. There's some a little bit darker here. Adding just a little interest there. He's got some little highlight there, and a little bit of highlight right there. Okay. Now let's go back to the oranges. And trying to decide, I think I want to go with a lighter yellow. So I'm going to take some of this white and Indian yellow and make a lighter yellow and start adding some contrast in the orange areas. So I'm seeing highlights right up his nose. Got a lot of paint there, which I like a lot of paint, but in this, for instance, and again, he's a slick-haired dog, so I don't want too much hairy strokes. This kind of goes up and around, and then he's got a little bit of right there. Kind of goes up in here just a touch. And then right here. And this kind of here goes. Not like that. Same with this area here. I'm going to go with the highlights of that here. really kind of highlighted there. Those eyebrow areas. Here. And a lot right there. Again, thinking about the direction the hair is going and painting in that direction. Okay, let's take some of that lighter yellow up here as well. Got a little bit of hair that's kind of golden color in his ear. So try and emphasize that as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I think I'm ready to get into the fluorescence. So I'm going to get into my Golden Brand Fluorescent Orange. And this is where it doesn't show up on camera as it does in real life. It's very vibrant in real life, and on the camera, it's not real vibrant. Let's put it right there. Let's see what I can get into here. Now I've cleaned out my brush, pretty much, and we're going to go ahead and, oh, that's pretty. I love this. I'm going to put some of that. To me, it looks like sunshine. So pretty. I'm going to go ahead and add some of that into the highlighted areas that we just put in. And again, I'm kind of just painting intuitively. Where would this dog look good with this? I'm just letting Not really thinking a whole lot about it. I'm just painting where I see this might work better. I'm going to put some of this gold, this orange right into the ears there. It just seems like makes their ears kind of glow just a bit, like the sun is shining through that skin part. Okay, and then I'm going to get into the fluorescent pink. Actually, I want to go ahead and this is kind of squared more or teed off more there. Okay, now I'm good with that. So now I want to get into fluorescent pink. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to get into the fluorescent pink here. And that's this paint clogs up at these openings here, these small openings. So I'll just pour this out just a little bit, but I always pour way too much when I do this. Good enough. And I'm going to go into these ears and pop some of this in the ears. Just like that, and then I'm going to go in to some of these areas and highlight. Some of those areas there. Again, a good place to make an interesting mark, so I went for it. Make some little highlights there on his Okay, so what I did was I took out with that pink there, I took out some of his eye. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that back in. I'm going to just use the tip of this little small brush right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put that eye back in. And the same with this. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of fluorescent orange to that eye, bringing up the color. And I'm going to wipe off my brush I'm going to soften that color just a bit. Re-emphasize that black again. Okay, we are about to wrap it up. I'm going to go back in and darken some of the darks. So I'm going to go back right into my black, and I'm going to simply re-emphasize some of these areas here. And I just didn't tell you what brush I was using. I'm just using the slanted brush. Just re-emphasizing some of this without taking out too much of the color underneath. Again, making it a little bit hairier where it's not. What direction does this go? It goes down. So softening into the highlighted colors I just put on, softening the black with hairy, little bit of a hairy marks there. That makes sense. All right, so now I'm cleaning out my brush, and I'm going to take just pure white and add some pops of highlight to his fur. And I'm seeing it right in here. And again, paying attention to the direction the hair is going. Right there, a little bit over his nose. There's some white in here. bit of highlight right there along that cheek. A little bit of highlight right here. Even some highlight up here in the darker area. Definitely some highlight right there. Big highlight right here. And I'm adding some interesting brush strokes right here. And definitely lots of white right here in that photo. And I'm going to take white and highlight a little bit of his nose, give him a little moisture in that nose right there, and then a little shine spot. Just like that. As I'm looking into, sometimes I see things better when I look up and into the camera, and when I look into what I'm seeing is this hard edge right here, along right here, is kind of bothering me. So I'm going to soften that edge, and so I'm looking at the photo, and I'm thinking just the Indian yellow might do it. Again, thinking of the direction of the hair. That do it enough for me. Let's see, I think I want to take the black just to even up, even though the picture he's a little lopsided, I think I want to even this up just a bit right in here. That jaw out just a little bit more. Okay, that's a little better for me. All right, anything else I want to add? I think I want to re-emphasize some more white. So I'm cleaning out my brush really good so I can get some pure white. And I'm just going to dip into the white, get quite a bit of paint, and add a few more interesting marks here. With some thick white paint. I think I'm going to take this out right here and add just an interesting mark right there. Same with right there. Okay, I think we're about done with Shepardo, other than let's add his whiskers on. And I see that spot of pink right there on his little chin. Let's see if I can't make that look a little bit better by adding some lavender. Blend that in just a touch there. That did it for me. All right, so now I think it's time to put the whiskers in. And so he's got some hairs. He's got some eyebrow hairs. And so I'm going to take a little liner brush. Let's see, which one do I want to use? I'm going to use this one right here. And they're kind of hard to see, they're black. So one of the ways you can pop the whiskers out where they're visible is making a little gray. So I'll make a little gray here. It's going to be a darker gray so that they stand out a bit more from the painting so you can see them. And he has a few eyebrow whiskers that go, making sure I don't have too much paint on my brush. They go right here. Not liking how that paint is coming off my brush, so I'm going to wet it down just a little bit more, saturate it, twirl my brush out, and see if I can. And then when I do a whisker, it's put your paintbrush down, and then as you're gliding out, lift up your paintbrush. That way you get a more of a whiskery. And then his whiskers are kind of, again, I'm not liking that my paint is not coming off my brush like I want. I want it to really flow real easy off my brush. There we go. That's better. So you want your paint real liquidy when you're doing this. There'd be a couple little bent hairs in there, here and there. There, they're not real whiskery dogs, but whiskery enough where we needed to show a little whiskers. I don't see any whiskers in this dog's ears. A lot of times they have whiskers in their ears. What I do see is little wispies right there. That might be a nice little touch to add in just a bit. All right. I think, let me see if I see some of this periwinkle blue up here in his ears, which might be a nice touch. If I can waken that color back up and create something similar to it, might be a little touch to bring it down into his nose, or maybe even, that's not even, but I like that, so I'm adding it in. All right, let's see if we can't make it a little bit of the periwinkle. And I'm just simply mixing some of the blue with the lavender or the pink. And it's a little bit, let's see if we can. And again, be careful, because might be trying to do that, is we don't want to overwork our painting. So I think for now I'm okay with that. If you are kind of at a, I don't know, spot with your painting, again, let that inner critic go. I want to soften that area up right there. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, that makes me a little happier. Again, just don't like how that kind of just stopped into that color, so I kind of took it into each other just a bit. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. I want you to look at your painting. If you're painting along with me on Patreon, take a nice deep breath and then exhale. Congratulations, you just painted Shepardo, the German Shepherd. Now, whether your German Shepherd looks like my German Shepherd, it doesn't matter. The thing of it is, the only thing that matters is that you created something beautiful, something unique, something that only you can create. And we were all born to create, and so now you've created something that shows the world how you're seeing things. So let that inner judge, that inner critic go away. Appreciate what you just created, because we were all meant to create, and just be grateful. So hang Shepardo in your home, gift Shepardo to somebody that you love. Just appreciate and enjoy the fact that you did something beautiful and made the world just a bit more beautiful, because you created something. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next class. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.